it in London today? Thank you, derogatory L. Hey, Vampira13, how are you? Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. Thank you, Cedric. Hey Joe, I don't dislike Blackberry Smoke, but I'm really not a fan. I mean, I'm not like, I don't have any of their records or anything, but I don't dislike them. I know that one of their guitar players uses P90, single P90 guitar, right? I'm alright, Vampira13. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you're doing well. What do I listen to, Matt? I listen to a lot of different stuff. Singer and songwriters from the 70s, classic 80s, if that's a thing. That's a camera mirror thing. I've tried to fix it now quite a few times, and it just won't resolve itself. Thank you. I appreciate that. I traded in Lucille for the Gibson SG Jr. At least for the night. I play through a Sword STR tremolo amp. 5-watt tube amp with reverb and tremolo. You can find it on, if you go to swordamps.com, you'll find it under the STR tremolo. But if you want my exact amp, you'd have to email Sword and be like, hey, I want to buy an STR tremolo with Soulcactus mods in it. That means instead of getting a 112 version of the amp, you'll get it with a Jensen P10R El Nico magnet speaker. And you'll get it powered using an EL34 power tube instead of the 6V6 and 6L6. You'll be able to put a 6V6 in there, but you won't be able to put an L6 in there anymore. So just know that. I don't get any money from Swart. It's just a brand that I've been playing since, I think, 2008. After I closed up Soulcactus Sound, I was looking for some different tone. And I just moved back here at the end of 2007. And I was like sort of getting my life back together after being gone for a little bit. And I bought an Swart STR Tweed amp, which was another 5-watt amp, and wound up being an amazing amplifier. And ever since then, I've played on a bunch of his different models for various different bands. But that's always been my go-to amp for like the last, since '08. I've like used that in a number of bands in Virginia. Hey, Mike. It's got 5 knobs, and then it's got a EQ tone switch on it, and you've got 2 inputs, which would be high and low. So I mean, like, there's still a lot of tonal variety on the amp, and even though it's 5 watts, it's still very loud. I put a pillow in front of it to like dampen on the sound, a sound dampener. If you're blasting a 5-watt amp, like say a narrow panel tweed champ, Fender, vintage or new, it's fucking loud. It's loud in somebody's house, unless you're in a huge room, and it's not a big deal, and the room can kind of consume the sound. But when you're in a small room like this, where it's like maybe like, I don't know, 12 by 14 or 10, something like not very big, you'll get blasted out. But when you go to play, okay, so here's another reason why I play with 5-watt amps. I can turn it up and get it to break up relatively quickly, yeah. But I can also turn my volume down on my guitar and get it to clean up. Now, if I'm playing with a drummer, and the drummer's louder than my amp, I don't want to play with that drummer. That was one of the things for my trio band. The band had to perform under 20 watts of amp power, which was a Tweed Deluxe really was more like 14 watts. So I always wanted my band, loudness wise, to be somewhere between 10 and 14 watts of guitar amp power. That way, when we went out to bars and played, we weren't blowing everybody out. So like bar managers and whatever else were always happy that we weren't extremely loud whenever we went and played a gig. So there is something to be said for that. You don't necessarily have to be loud to be good. You can be quiet and be terrible too. Johnny Holt. We appreciate that. Hey, Khaled. Radio Cowboy. I like that. Before playing Swartz, I played Matchless in Victoria, gigging and or otherwise. Those were my amps prior to playing Swart, in or out of the house. Yes, thank you, Glorious. I know. No, never listen to witches. I try and avoid them at all costs. Anyways, getting back to playing with small amplifiers, they also have the ability to let you hear everything that's going on in your band. So that's why I said, you know, like, if you really want your band to get good and get tight, play with a smaller wattage amplifier. Don't be blasting your asses out of the building. It'll make a difference. In terms of dynamics, I mean, look at here. ZZ Top is the perfect example. Like, Billy just used to play with a Tweed Deluxe. In and out at gigs. I mean, like when they were playing bars and stuff, that's the amp that he used. That's a 14-watt 112 amp. And if you get it past, like, you know, 6 o'clock on the volume dial, all it does, after 4.5 on a Tweed Deluxe, a 57 narrow panel Tweed Deluxe, all it does is compress and distort. You have nowhere to go. That's why I don't like playing with Tweed Deluxes. The only way that I would play with them is to go into the low input so I could have more volume headroom. And not go into bright channel, but normal. And go into input 1 or input 2. I would never go into bright. Too hot, especially out at bars that had a lot of neon. Another thing to be aware of when you're playing out. If you bring a high-powered, high-gain amplifier, there's a chance that that neon shit, all the electricity in the bar, will come through your amp in a wicked hum, and it'll suck balls the entire night. The only time you won't hear it is when you're playing with the band. Once the band stops, you'll be hearing it. It'll be really loud. Do I know Kiss Band? You mean Kiss the Band? Yeah. I don't know how to play any Kiss. I did see their first reunion tour with the 4 original members when they actually announced it back in 1990, whatever it was. The amp is only on 4 in the house. It's still plenty loud. That's why I put the pillow in front of it. Yeah, Kiss, Rock and Roll All Night, Detroit Rock City. That's who you're talking about, right? What about the Beach Boys? That's so weird that you brought up the Beach Boys, Mike. I had Kokomo playing in my brain earlier. I don't know any Beach Boys, but I like them. I don't own one Beach Boy record, to be honest with you. B.B. King? That's from B.B. King, Live and Well. Thank you, Mike. I'm just gonna call you Capo. Hello there. Hey, Michael the boss. I don't know Def Leppard, my friend. Does anybody else have any questions about amplifiers? In terms of, like, you know, you guys know that you don't have to go spend, like, crazy amounts of money on an amplifier, right? I'm not telling you to do that. I'm telling you to do, what I am telling you to do is find your tone. Go somewhere where you can play some amps and see what you like. You know, start off with your basic, like, I don't know, your Fenders, whatever, Line 6, Vox, Marshall, whatever you can get your hands on, you know? Like, if all you can get your hands on is Black Star, that's fine. That's what Jared Nichols plays. He doesn't suck. I mean, he looks like he's gonna break the guitar in half every time I see him play, but, I mean, shit. He makes it sound alright. What effects pedals am I using? Nothing. I'm very aware. Thank you, Justin. I'm not using any effects. Just the amp has onboard reverb. That's it. Otherwise, the amp sounds like this. I bet I can get a similar tone if I just crank up my volume, right? secret is to playing that fucking riff? Take your fingers off the fucking chord in between the. The only time your fingers should be pressing down is on the strike of that chord. That's the only time that shit should be touching the fretboard. That's the secret to playing that riff, folks. And if you don't think it is, you're more than welcome to tell me to fuck off. Thanks, Mike. Wicked Game by Chris Isaac. Yo, soy yo. Mr. Bob V, I'm not left-handed. Sorry. That's the fucking stupid YouTube camera. I don't know Chris Isaac's Wicked Game. That's funny. Hey Mina, how are you? Hey Ghost, I don't know what any buzz rocks are. Hey Mr. Bubby. So far, so good. Buckingham, anything? I've been listening to The Chain off of Rumors by Fleetwood Mac a lot. AC/DC. Chunky Boy 78, don't know any Metallica. Thank you, Mina, I appreciate that. So if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, and I'd appreciate a thumbs up too. Thank you, Mr. Bubby. say I prefer to play my own music, which is the song that I just played. It was from my Killing Floor days, which I talked about earlier on today's stream, the midday edition. I have not heard of Flamin' Groovies, but that doesn't mean anything. Hey, Rico Nunez. Giant Space Butt. Photograph, I don't know that one. Thank you, Rico. Ghost, you can, I've got about 10 or 11 tracks that are up on my Patreon page, patreon.com/Larry Soulcactus. You can get a good chunk of my tunes there. Fender or Gibson? Feels a little heavy-handed to say Gibson, right? For me, that's a two-way tie. I love both. I've played both all my life. I am not on Apple Music. I think someone is selling my CD on Amazon.com though. If you look there. Thank you. It's mostly the amp. Game Possum. What game are you playing? What's it? Have someone kick you right in the nutsack before you sing that. Just some quotes. Jeff Healey, dude. The right version of Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze and Sam Elliott was Jeff Healey. That's unmistakable. That motherfucker could play his ass off and then some for like 100 people. I saw Mississippi Queen TC, played it before. Check out some of the other past videos, please. I don't play it particularly well. I saw a band out of like northern, like somewhere in California, something like Wolfsea or whatever, that they did a cover of Mississippi Queen. Sound pretty good. 4-piece rock band. Good to see young cats playing rock and roll music. little screeching from the ref. To him, to me, to you. Alright guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for this evening, as we're kind of going on here for a while, but thank you for participating in tonight's live stream, and we'll catch you tomorrow for the midday one, right? Right. Okay, so have a good night, be good to yourselves, and be good to the people around you. Peace out. We'll see you tomorrow. Night-night. Bye-bye. Thank you.